Hello everyone, I am very happy to welcome you back for the 4th week lessons. This is the first unit for my course on enhancing soft skills and personality, and this is in total lesson number 16. This lesson is titled as People Skills, and the first one on people skills. What makes others dislike you? If you remember the introduction to the course, I have been telling that soft skills is nothing but people skills. But today I want to look exclusively on those people skills which are relevant in maintaining human relationships, and particularly the traits which make people dislike you. And before we start, let me take a quick look at what we did in the previous one, highlights of the last lesson. In the last lesson, I discussed about the importance of changing your negative thinking in order to develop a positive self-image. Change, I said, cannot come overnight. It's a systemic process with long-term consequences, and it involves at least 5 steps, such as 1. Desire, drive, determination. You need to desire to have a very happy, positive self, and you need to kindle the drive in you. And once you kindle and start the journey, you need to be determined to stay there. Secondly, you have to delve deep into yourself. That is, you need to do a lot of introspection and self-analysis. Our thoughts are the ones which are controlling our behavior, and there is a lot of connection between thoughts and our actions. However, what we think is not something that we execute all the time, and there is a huge gap between what we think and what we do. So, what happened in between our action and our thoughts? How do we see the world? And there is this external and internal world. The internal world is the one that we have conceived for ourselves and kept in our mind. And surprisingly, we use a lot of filters. We interpret that world for ourselves and keep that inside, and most of the times we live in that inside world, inside reality only. We do not even bother about what's happening outside. The way we use filters to see reality is more important, and we need to observe those filters. How is that our mind filtering, interpreting a situation? Is it similar to rest of the people, or is it different? Or all people feeling positive about a situation about which my mind is interpreting in a negative manner? Observe others and see how they react, and if you react differently, so then you need to introspect deep and change the behavior that is making you react differently. Understand unfortunate events which you think are unfortunate and you curse other people and circumstances may be blessings in disguise. So, I discussed a long conversational story between God and the person of the story to illustrate this point, that unfortunate events are not really unfortunate, they are planned, disguised blessings. The third step is, after identifying our limitations, we need to discard. Now, before we discard, that is, throw out the limitations from our system, we need to first accept them, that those limitations are our limitations, our faults, our mistakes. Without blaming others, we need to take full responsibility. Without blaming any environment or circumstances, we have to own ourselves as responsible, and only then we will be able to discard them. And the next stage is developing positive image. Now, after purifying ourselves, introspection, self-analysis, discarding mistakes, faults, limitations, it's time to develop the positive image. Now, the positive image can be developed by reinforcing and repeating positive traits in us. To do that, you need to visualize becoming a positive person that you want to be. I explained how you can visualize whatever you want to be, whether it's a person as a public speaker or as a great writer. You visualize the way you want it to be, and then you keep that visualization in all colorful manner in your mind, and then work towards it. And the fifth stage is synchronizing your body and mind and world. Often it appears that body and mind appear to be discordant, but actually they are very well connected, which is very clear in situations like fight or flight, where the mind is also afraid when there is a physical impending danger. But we can also reverse the mind to feel happy by putting our body in pleasing environment, such as going for a walk in a park, calming ourselves, meditating, and at the same time we can also have happy thoughts in our mind and then make our body feel enthusiastic and energetic. Both are possible. And once we are able to connect the body and the mind in all positivity, we should next connect this with the external reality from which we are distancing ourselves and keeping our own inner reality in a very insulated manner. Try to synchronize this inner reality with the external without lot of filters, and try to see the real as it is. Okay. Do not take only things which are favorable to you and avoid things which are appearing to criticize your behavior, but take everything, what's and all, and then accept them, develop your positive image. So that was the overall message that I gave in the last lesson. Now in this one, as I said, we are going to look at the skills which you need to keep people around you, because soft skills are nothing but those skills that will help you to have a very good binding with the people around you who are responsible for your success or happiness. Now in order to keep the people around you, in the previous one I said do lot of self-analysis, introspection. Now this is an expansion of identifying those limitations, faults in you which you need to overcome. Okay. Now some of you do not know that you have lots of faults. In fact, when I was making a slight research on how many dislikable qualities I can find in human beings, I thought maybe I will identify 10, I thought I may end up with 20, but I was surprised and mildly shocked to know that up to 40 qualities I found which people normally dislike in others. These are qualities that I researched, I asked people, I interviewed some, and based on my own experience I identified and gathered them and put for you. What should you do? Now when I am discussing these points for which people actually dislike you, now try to identify how many you have and try to eliminate them once like you realize that you have these qualities. Some of you may have just 10 of them, some of you have 20 of them, some of you may have even more than 40, even there are certain traits which I might have missed mentioning here. But it only means that you need to have this awareness and you need to pay attention to them in terms of eliminating them, and in the next lesson I will inform you as how you can actually replace them with good thoughts, good qualities, good traits, and make people actually attracted towards you. Now why this topic? First you need to understand the attraction distraction principle, how it works. Human beings are like magnets, not only like magnets, literally you know that we have lot of magnetic energy within us, around us, in the field around us, we have lot of it. So figuratively also we attract others due to certain qualities in us, and they get repelled okay, or they feel repelled from us due to certain unlikable traits in us. So, the attraction repulsion is happening because of attractive qualities as well as qualities which others find very repugnant, loathsome, hateful. No, when I talk to people and then when you ask people who are generally unhappy and then generally who have lots of complaints, they often say that I don't understand why people don't like me. I always do this, that for people, but I don't know, people are ungrateful, they don't even like me. People always hate me, nobody likes me. And some people with this thought that there is nobody to like them even commit suicide. What a precious waste of life. But seldom do they introspect and analyze the qualities in them which repels them from others. If only they were given a chance to introspect on those qualities which repel them from others, perhaps there was a possibility of redemption and they could have changed themselves and made people like them. Now, in this lesson, as I said at the outset, we will look at the most detested qualities in human beings. In the next lesson, we will see how we can overcome them by replacing them with the most attractive qualities. You may ask me, why should you eliminate hateful traits in you? Why can't I have all the hateful traits in me? I don't care about others. I can live an isolated life. Okay. So, that comes actually out of one negative egoistic tendency in you. Okay. But what you need to understand is that as human beings, we are all social animals. We all need emotional fulfillment. In fact, we are also emotional animals. And we need constant support from the society for our upliftment and growth. Without society supporting us, it is not possible for individual growth. Always the individual and the society is in a dynamic and kind of synchronetic process. Okay. They are always in this synthetic mode in which there is a give and take from both sides. So, we cannot survive for a long time without reassurance from others. So, that is why the highest punishment that is given to people is putting them in cell, camp, where they are completely isolated, they are put in solitary confinement where they cannot talk to any human beings. And we will not be able to survive for a long time without emotional support from others. In fact, our happiness quotient depends on the number of people who like us and are willing to help us without expecting anything in return. If people like you, if people know that you are genuine, people will be willing to help you, support you, be with you, irrespective of the money part that is involved in it. However, you should also understand that we cannot force people to like us. Some people think that I will throw money on people, I will give party after party, I will give lot of gifts. So, all the material things, people might be appearing to be attracted towards you, but not actually towards your personality, but it is towards the material gifts that you have been giving them. And people will automatically like us if you are able to eliminate all hateful qualities in us. Otherwise, despite the material benefits you are bestowing on people, they will end up hating you. Sooner or later, they will leave you. It will be extra bonus if you are able to add likable traits in us, and then we will have more people gravitating towards us. So, on the one hand, even if you are able to eliminate all these 40 hateful traits that I am going to identify for you just now, then also people will start liking you. But in addition to that, in the next lesson, we are going to discuss about likable traits. And if you are able to emulate those traits, inculcate some of those characteristics in you, so there is nothing like people gravitating towards you and liking to be in your company. Now, let us identify the dislikable traits. The first one, showing egoistic, egocentric, egotistic tendency. Ego means I. So, egoistic is keeping all the time I in all the talk. Egocentric is wanting to be at the center stage all the time and keeping people at the margin, pushing others and demanding the center space all the time. Egotistic is all the time boasting about oneself. So, overall it is about being self-centered and not being able to empathize with others' point of view. Always boasting about oneself and one's achievements, but never listening to others and talking repeatedly, endlessly about oneself, never bothering to listen to others. So, that is the core of egocentric, self-centered nature that actually repels people. Next, being aggressive, arrogant. We have spent quite some time distinguishing between assertiveness and aggressiveness, but with aggressiveness, arrogance also comes, and these people always push their agenda. They are very unpleasantly proud, domineering, dictating terms, and come what may, they would like to get it at all cost by any means. The next trait is being negative, pessimistic, cynical. Now, one should know that there is always something positive in everything that happens, but when one possesses negativity, it shows lack of faith in oneself and others. So, the pessimist will never let any good thing happen, nor will let anyone take any good initiative. They will be always cynical, they will be always doubtful, they will always prevent somebody doing any good thing. Neither they will do nor they will allow others to do. So, they will not live and let others live. They will not live themselves, they will not let others live happily also. So, that, and they will share their negative energy with others and make others feel negative also. People will try to avoid if they know that you are all the time pessimistic and cynical, and especially when they want to start a new endeavor, they would not come to you asking for suggestions because they know that you are going to say no, you are going to be negative. The other trait that people generally do not like in others is being critical of others. There are some people who are always finding fault with others. Some are too nitpicking, that is overly critical, even small things they will criticize. Instead of looking at some positive traits in others, their mind will always look at the negative ones and their eyes are always critical, and everywhere they will find this, and not only they will find it, they will also point it out to others. Combined with this is this tendency of never appreciating others. This comes because of a lot of other things that I said before, being self-centered and not trying to appreciate others is because they are maybe overtly critical of others, but overall for whatever reason it may be, they do not prize others even when they really deserve some kind of appreciation, they do not do that. And next, especially it happens in case of colleagues, boss, never giving credit to others. In teamwork, when you do something, so somebody else did something on your behalf, it is important that you need to give credit to that person, even at the cost of losing your face, it does not matter. And if you are the team leader, if you are the boss, you need to give credit to the entire team. But what happens in reality, these bosses, these managers, these leaders actually take the credit for others' work. They did not do it, but then they take the credit of others' work. The next negative trait that people dislike in others is this quality of worrying. Sometimes it is fine that life is bad and then you worry about it, but then this worriers, they are constant worriers. And even if there is a good cause for happy, they will say, no, but what about this? And you say, oh, but can't you see this? This should make you happy. No, 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 but what about this situation? Is it not making me unhappy? All the time worrying, not only worrying themselves, making others worried also about these people. It's very important. If you have this trait, you should read the book that I have mentioned at the end of this lesson, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. It's a must read book if you are this constant worrying type, because you need to stop this worrying, because it can kill you, it can give you acidity, it can give you cancer. If you look at the top 5 reasons for getting cancer, number 2 is worrying, just worrying. So, you have to be very careful with this tendency, and then this one classic kind of a book that helps you to overcome this. Now, slightly combined with worrying is this nagging types. In a very funny manner, usually nagging is associated with henpecked husbands whose wives are supposed to nag them. But overall, nagging refers to urging, reminding constantly. Now, a hint for the voice is enough. So, even if you suggest somebody to do something, most of the times they do it, but you keep on telling it 10 times, 20 times, and you keep on reminding again and again to the extent that you annoy this person, and then even you provoke the person to get angry with you. Okay, so, that nagging is something people do not like. The other trait is being rude or impolite. This often goes with this aggressive and arrogant people, but even without that, sometimes people can be very rude, very offensive and embarrassing to others, like the curt, reluctant salesman. Sometimes you go for buying something and the salesman is not interested in showing that to you, or let us say it is a very expensive thing and he thinks that you are a low class person and you are a poor guy and you will not be able to buy that. So, he has a kind of attitude in which he becomes very offensive and rude. So, that not only in case of salesman, with anybody, rudeness people do not like. The next thing that people do not like is being undependable, that is being untrustworthy, unreliable and totally irresponsible. Once people realize that they cannot trust you, especially in crucial moments, so slowly they will withdraw from you. It is associated with the next dislikable quality that I am going to discuss, that is being fraudulent. You must have heard the term fake people. Nobody likes fake people, the pretentious type, the fraudulent ones. Who are fake people? Fake people are dishonest but pretend to be very genuine people. They put the guys as if they are very genuine, very concerned, very sincere, but actually they are dishonest people. In crowd, they will go to the most powerful or very rich or showy people, and in social gatherings, let us say you are in less position or in a less rank, and you see these fake people in the social gatherings, they will not even come to you, but they will not even recognize you in public places, and they will always go to the ones who are very powerful, who are high in rank or in position. It is one important one by which you can identify these people, but in private situation they will talk in such a manner that they are your intimate friend, very close to you. But when it comes to outside, sometimes they do not even want to be associated with you, they act as if you are not even their friend. Now, these are real fake people, and like you need to discard them. But if you have this thing, you should understand that people will not like this quality. Associated with this is also this gossiping tendency. What do people who gossip do? They gather and spread personal information about other people. They will talk to one person, they will gather all personal information and they will share it with the other one whom this person does not like. Often they are rivals or enemies. So, sharing one information with the other one, very personal, and backbiting. So, saying bad things about the other person before this one to make this one feel very important. I am only loyal to you, I am saying all bad things about that person to you. But you should realize that this person will also go and tell the other person all bad things about you to him. So, you should not be deluded into the belief that this person is trying to be very genuine and only bringing all gossip to you. You also is part of the gossip that this person is gathering for others' information. So, you have to be careful with this trait also. The other dislikable traits, making false promises or never keeping promises. Though these people will swear on God or child to make a convincing promise, they will swear on anything. Okay. They will put their hand on fire, they will do all these promises, but they just forget it or they ignore it, they do not do. At the time they promise and get some money from you or get some benefit from you, but their promise stands good only for that moment. Combined with this is the next dislikable trait, that is cheating or manipulating. Now, some people think that other people are meant for using only. In fact, you can use anything but not people. So, trying to use people for their personal benefits by manipulating, by cheating, thinking that they do not know that others are being manipulated. But in the long run, manipulators and cheaters will be found and disliked profusely. The next dislikable trait is using abusive language or cursing as a habit, even when it is not required. Now, people not only like sweet voice, but also sweetness in word choice. So, when you use abusive language, people will automatically try to leave you. So is shouting. And shouting at people frequently and unnecessarily, just to show that you are boss, just to show that you are superior, or just to show that you want to dominate, whatever it is, but that shouting is detested. Similarly, talking in a loud tone. Normally, you need to speak in a tone that is audible to the person who is next to you. There is no need to amplify your voice so that people in the next room can also hear you. Now, this will help in histrionics, that is, if you are acting or delivering some dialogue, that is fine. And there are some situations where you need to speak in loud voice, that is also okay. But people generally feel comfortable and open up with soft spoken characters. Those who are soft spoken, people generally feel that they are more matured and mellowed than the ones who are loud in speaking, in raising their voice. Another trait for identifying the fake people is their shifting glances. Dishonest people will avoid direct eye contact. They keep shifting their glances to look for better people, and then if they see somebody better coming around, they will just leave you on the lurch and then go and talk to the other person. So, this shifting glances, not maintaining direct eye contact, will indicate that the person is not genuine, and it will create dislike in relationships. Another interesting quality that people do not like in others is too much of indulgence in self-pity. Now, occasionally people can sympathize with your plight and do something to encourage you, give emotional support, but they will run away from you if you demand help from others constantly. The other thing that I talked, even in terms of managing time, people dislike those who never keep time. People do not like to be kept waiting and hate others who do not know the value of their time. So, you should be punctual. And while talking, people do not like if people are inattentive. So, being inattentive is the next quality they dislike. What does it mean? Not paying attention to what is being said, getting distracted, losing focus, and getting distracted so quickly And people have to ask again and again, are you listening to me? Or did you follow what I said? Oh, yeah, I remember. So that getting distracted and coming back only when you are shaken is something that people don't like. The next bad trait people don't like in others is ridiculing, condescending and being sarcastic. All are similar traits, but doing all these things in a way to humiliate others, especially by making fun in terms of their body constitution, like making fun of somebody who is tall, saying that you are like a palm tree, or somebody who is fat, or somebody who is short, and giving all nicknames, or stereotyping people in terms of race, color, caste, religion, language, nationality, etc., and ridiculing or looking down on them, that is condescending, or being very sarcastic, okay, making caustic remarks in a very funny manner. Now, all these things will immediately repel people. And then there is all this type of people who are not liked, who appear to show that they are knowing it all, or they are called as this know-it-all types. Now, whatever you say, they will say, yeah, I know it before you tell me this thing. So, what it indicates is they are close-minded and they are prejudiced. So, they are not actually even giving credit, giving contingency to any new information that you are bringing to them. It is their rigidity of thinking that is stopping them, and people do not like this rigid-minded people. The next dislikable trait is exhibiting holier than thou attitude. Now, such people think that they are always better than others. For example, let us say in terms of food habit, whether it could be vegetarian or non-vegetarian thing, the one trying to tell, oh, you do not eat this food. So, as if like or saying that, oh, you eat this food. So, making them feel that you are doing something very criminal, something wrong. So, you are doing this, oh, I do not do such things. So, I am holier, I am far superior in terms of my values compared to you. So, showing that attitude, people would like to leave you. And then normally there are occasions you should be serious, but if you are dead serious all the time, lacking in good sense of humor or sense for humor, whether you are able to crack jokes and make others laugh, or at least you should be able to laugh when others are telling jokes. Even when it is a humorous situation, if you keep your face very serious and poker, so people will not like to be in your company, because you are not making that entire conversation enlivened by your participation. The other trait that people do not like in others is being indecisive, taking too much time to decide even trivial things and wasting others' time. Asking somebody, can I do this or not, and then the other person spends about 1 hour to think about it and give very valuable suggestion, and then saying, no, if I do this, that will happen, so I will not do this. What about this? Then again the person spends lot of time to research on that and then comes out with another suggestion, again saying that no, I do not think I will do this. Now, being indecisive, not able to decide even on very trivial things. Similar to this is being slow and lazy, very slow in responding to something, and when people are expecting that you will say yes or no by just sending an SMS, okay, or just calling and saying something, and you take 1 or 2 months to respond to that. And generally being lazy is something that people do not like. Another dislikable quality is showing apathy. Apathy is lack of feeling for anything. So, not showing interest in anything. So, would you like to have coffee? No, I do not like coffee. Would you like to have tea? I do not like tea also. Would you like to have ice cream? I hate ice creams. No, you ask anything, they will keep on saying, I don't like this, I don't like this. No, why would somebody like this person if you don't like anything in the world? Apathy is something that is disliked in others. The next dislikable quality is if a person is being judgmental and impatient. What do they do when they are judgmental? They will run into conclusions so quickly without even experiencing truth, without even reasoning it out something. They will just immediately think that, oh, this person is bad guy and this one is good. That is again wrong judgmental assessment. And impatience comes with that, and they are not patient to assess facts. The next dislikable quality is being moody. Some people are temperamental, mercurial and chameleon like. So, morning they are happy, afternoon they are sad, evening they are in depression, next day they are in the heights of ecstasy. Now, people are not sure when these people will get angry and when they will be pleased. Suddenly they just share a joke and then they get angry, or they sulk and they feel that you have offended them. So, it is very difficult to deal with people who are moody. And then they do not even share, they become unapproachable when they are moody, and it is like they will try to negate relationships during that time, even very important relationships. So, being moody is another trait that people generally do not like. Getting angry is another important trait that people dislike, which we spent lot of time in the lesson on managing anger. Sufficient to tell you that nobody likes an angry person, especially the one who never realizes or acknowledges or makes amends. Other dislikable traits: showing favoritism, like being partial and giving some benefit to somebody and not giving the same benefit to others, especially if you are a principal or a boss or a higher authority. And similarly, showing respect to some, whether you are a boss or anybody, showing respect to select people and treating some with disrespect, and giving differential treatment to people. So, that is overall amounting to showing favoritism, which people detest in others. Being illogical is another dislikable trait. What do these people do? Generally, you cannot reason them out. The other thing is, they are being blind in defending some people, even if they are wrong, because of vested interests. So, you cannot convince them with reason that somebody is wrong, because these people like them, so blindly they will defend these people. The other bad quality in some people is trying to control others' life, especially by forcing them to accept one's own decisions. How do they control others? They will decide what others should eat, the time they should sleep, what they should do, when they should have children, when they should get married, when they should go for a job, what car they should be driving, what shirt they should be wearing. So, they are sometimes control freaks. They are so much obsessed with controlling others. Now, people would always like to run away from these control freaks. The last few traits that I want to discuss are related to personal hygiene and social etiquette, which I may spend some time on separate lessons, but very quickly to tell you what is it that they do not like in others. Not caring for personal hygiene, such as smelling badly, garlic smell coming from the mouth, and then lot of bad smell emanating from armpits, or bad smell coming from the hair, looking lousy, dirty and uncut nails, running nose but not doing anything, and you always see some mucus on the upper part of the lip, and sometimes it even enters into the mouth and then they do not bother, and it annoys others to even look at that kind of thing. Picking nose in public and so on. So, not caring for personal hygiene, generally people will try to tell politely through indirect means, but after some time they would like to keep away from this kind of people. Similarly, Possessing unpleasant social etiquette also repels people, such as eating food noisily or leaving plenty of food on plate, especially when it is expensive and you go and order so much, especially on somebody else's money, and then you just throw that, and having other poor table manners, etc. There's another trait that people don't like in others when they disregard the private space of others. So, in the previous course we discussed something about the private space, where there is this arm's distance you should maintain. Now, going and sitting close to the others, especially it may be the opposite sex, without their permission, reaching the level of touching them without their permission, and forcibly, and sometimes trying to show power or abusing the vulnerability of the subordinates. So, that is something they disregard, they dislike, this disregard. Last but not the least, one overall trait that people generally dislike in others is that when you meet someone, at the end of the meeting, these are those people, they leave us with a very bad feeling or some kind of intimidation. So, we go out with some kind of nervousness, fear, we feel threatened, we feel insecure. There is an uncomfortable feeling having met this person, and we wonder why, for instance, we came and met this person, and we regret over the meeting. So, those people who leave you with this bad feeling, or if you are among those people, you should know that you will never be liked for whatever reasons that you might be doing. You may be the boss, you want to threaten others. You may be a teacher, you want to threaten your students. You are a manager and you have to intimidate others. But if you really want to be liked, so people don't like this bad feeling, and they will always remember the way they have been treated. So, they will forget other events in which you might have appeared to be good, but then always when you leave them with this bad feeling, that will remain in them, and that will slowly make them dislike you. Now, having said this, don't jump into conclusion and then immediately try to identify these traits in somebody whom you hate, and you say that, oh, that person has all bad qualities and I don't have these ones. There are some revealing statements from Carl Jung which I want you to introspect, read very carefully, even meditate over these very thoughtful sayings from this psychiatrist and philosopher. He says, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. So, if you say, oh, these are qualities that I don't like in others, what Jung says is that those things can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. These are traits we are seeing in others, but we may be possessing those traits also, and we are not acknowledging them. We are like ostriches. The ostrich will put its head inside the sand and think that it's out of danger from reality. So, we close our eyes like that and we think that others are at fault. So, Jung says that if you are irritated by some quality, just be watchful whether you have that quality in you and you are irritating others with that same quality. And next he says, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. If you want that awakening to happen, look inside. And what should you look inside? He says again, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. So, darkness is the negative qualities, the horrible traits in us, the detestable qualities in us. He says that knowing your darkness first. Instead of taking the list that I have given you and then just identifying that somebody else is having all these things, first you make a checklist. You just try to identify how many of these traits are with me. And if you are really honest and sincere, you can take the checklist and show to others. So, in this lesson I have been told that these are 40 dislikable qualities. You can ask your close friends, you can ask your trusted friends, and if you have the guts you can ask your enemies, your rivals, and give them the list and tell them to put a checklist. Of the 40, tell me honestly how many do I possess, because I seek to know my own darkness and I want to throw light on that, and then I want to get some illumination and I want to live in that light, not in the darkness. And by that you will be throwing light on your own self, and then you will also identify the darkness on others, but at the same time you will try to throw more light by developing good qualities and by overcoming these dislikable traits. Some interesting books that you can go through if you have time. One is by Carl Jung, Modern Man in Search of a Soul. It is a collection of his essays dealing with this kind of traits in human beings. And Dale Carnegie's book, which I mentioned already, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And James Altucher, Choose Yourself, Be Happy, Make Millions, Live the Dream. So, this for further reading, and I thank you so much for watching this video. I hope these traits, if looked at carefully and then introspected properly, and then if you can join this with your self analysis, it will help you to know where you are and how you can go to the next stage in your life. The next stage is identifying this, overcoming, and trying to imbibe qualities which people like in us. So, we will meet in the next lesson, in which I will discuss with you how to attract people and why some people are very attractive and charismatic, and how you can become those people and attract others to you. Thanks again for watching this video.